All right. Hey guys, welcome. Rob Tatro here. Great to be here again with you guys for TRJ, the running journey, episode 145, the November 27th, 2025 episode. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming in. Today it's me and Charlie, but we also have a special guest. The guest is the first ever member of the Run with Rob Run Club, one of my all-time favorite running buddies, Phil Marcoux. Phil is a guy who just came out on a whim to support me for the charitable work I was doing 2 years ago when I was running across Manitoba. And he just thought it'd be cool to support me because I needed some help. I needed some legs filled out. So he came, he did 4 half marathons there in a 2 week stretch. And he kind of discovered he likes running. And over the last year, he's really locked in, and he's trying to do a sub 3 hour marathon in New York this weekend at the New York World AIDS Day Marathon, which I am going with him and some other running buddies. So it's going to be a fun trip. This is our conversation, me, Charlie, and him. So at the end of the episode, we get into race strategy, but throughout the first part, it's guys chatting about running because they're passionate. I feel like this episode could have gone on forever because when we do get together, Phil and I and Charlie, we just talk running all the time. So this is us chatting about running. He opens up a bit about some struggles he had with running, training, how it wasn't always easy for him. I think there's a great perspective in there. It's not just always Rob and Charlie where we love every minute and we're animals and we're just going to run a million miles and it's super easy. I really like Phil's perspective here. And he talks a lot about preparation and expectations for his race on Monday. Focus on what you can control, which I think is a great message. Episode 145 of The Running Journey, our chat with Phil Marcoux, guys. It is a good one. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy. All right, guys, welcome. Another episode of The Running Journey. I'm Rob. Today I have special guest, my brother. No, not a special guest, just the recurring guest, my brother Charlie. Charlie, how you doing?
Good.
Good. Yeah, good. And we have a special guest today. We teased him last week. We talked about him. I've talked about this guy in the past a ton. He's the guy that did the most amount of half marathons with me at all my run with Robs ever. He's a guy that's been super fun to run with, especially lately as he's getting super fast. My buddy, Phil Marcoux. Phil, thanks for being here.
It's an honor to be a part of one of my favorite podcasts. Top two favorite podcasts.
Top two. Who's what else is up there?
Pardon my take.
Pardon my take. What is that again? Sorry.
Just sports
Okay.
Sports BS. Yeah.
Sports BS. We could do a podcast like that.
You could. You do the running version of sports BS.
Just Charlie and I arguing about random NHL trades and baseball rulings and
the Jays.
The Jays. We have enough for one episode in the history. But Phil, you've been on this podcast before.
Yeah, I think before we had kind of the group session before Manitoba Marathon 2024.
2 years ago. Yeah, or a year and a half ago. So that was the first time. That was on my deck. We recorded that. Yeah, you were part of that group session. And then we did another episode with you in LA.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And is that it? Or have you been on since?
Yeah, I think that would be it.
Okay, so those were like very minor appearances. You were rotating in a crew of 5 or 6.
That's right.
Today you're the sole guest. You've elevated your game. You've been running a ton. So I guess you've got a big race this weekend.
That's right.
Tell me about the race.
It's a marathon in New York, not the New York Marathon, but a marathon in New York.
You blew it.
World AIDS Marathon. Yeah, I'm fired up. These are some of my favorite just things in life. Like, it doesn't always have to be a boys trip, but like whether it's a golf trip or a running trip or just any sort of kind of adventure, right? Sometimes it's a massive trip to Europe. Sometimes it's just a trip to the lake or whatever, but just something that like you mark in your calendar that gives you something to look forward to and then a new experience. These are just some of my favorite things. So I'm looking forward to the weekend as a whole. And the race on Monday is pretty exciting.
Charlie, you talked about that last week, right? You said how unreal the Chicago trip was just because it was just a bunch of people that loved running and that want to get together and talk about running all weekend, right?
Yeah. Chicago is super fun. Yeah. So you guys will have a lot of fun this weekend, even though you're not running, Rob.
I might do a 10K
Oh,
or a 5K, depending on what my physio says. But back to this concept of, I've talked about it at length on this podcast. I used to have a theory back in the day. I called it my looking forward to theory. It worked better in French. Avoir quelque chose. I used to say that you always have to have two things in life that you look forward to. One, immediately, short term. You have to look forward to something every week. Short term, just to keep you motivated, whether it's a golf round or a hockey game or a date with your wife on Friday or a movie with your kid, just something that you look forward to every week. And then I always thought something kind of longer term, 3 to 6 months, where you're really excited about. And this trip for me has been one of those. I've been very excited about this trip to New York for a while.
There's a guy I work with who he's much younger than me, but much wiser than me, who told me about this theory that he had heard on a podcast, either psychology or philosophy based, but it was about like having chapters throughout your year, and it can be a concert that you're looking forward to, or it can be a trip, but just having something that has kind of an end and a start of a new chapter that is so important to the psychology in terms of like remembering and having, setting up your memories for your past, right? Because if you just go 2-3 years without just purposely setting those chapters, all of a sudden time's a blur, and you've gone 3 years without anything of significance, and you feel like you've lost that time. So these kinds of trips are like, I'm going to Neil deGrasse Tyson with my dad next Friday.
Me too. I got tickets.
Which, like it's a one-nighter, but I'm fired up about it, and it's something that we're going to remember when we talk about it next year or down the road or whatever. So just having these kind of bookmarks that separate your year, separate time as you go through, I think is just critical to maintaining just a happy life.
Charlie, wouldn't you say that as runners, like that's how we measure our calendar these days? That was before or after London, before or after Manitoba Marathon, before or after my Ironman? It's like, for me, it's kind of like blocks of training for a race is kind of how you talk about these chapters.
Yeah. Interesting. The chapters, love the chapters. I feel like it's just running now, though. Maybe that's sad a bit. I don't know. Anyways,
okay, but this weekend we are going to do more than just running. Running is obviously like the most important thing on my calendar is Phil's attempt at a sub-3. And I don't know. I don't even know if that's still going on, Phil. I don't even know.
Broadway show or anything. Wait.
We have front row seats to Moulin Rouge, which is a musical. I hear it's good. I don't know. We have
Hamilton.
It's no Hamilton, Charlie, that you fell asleep during. Charlie fell asleep during Hamilton. It's crazy. It was a long day. That was a crazy long day. We were up at like, what time were we up? 2:30 or something? 3 that morning? That was the day of the marathon.
It was around 3. Yeah, it was early.
That was, to this day, one of the awesomest. It's my favorite running day of my entire life.
It was a recovery Hamilton.
It was a recovery Hamilton. Yeah. We got the midnight show at the Comedy Cellar. I don't know if Phil's going to do that because I don't know if that interferes with his. But we got a late show.
He cares about his time, Rob.
I'm just saying. I'm only doing a 5K, so I can do the late show at the Comedy Cellar.
That's how I felt like I was the party animal in Chicago because I didn't really care too much about my time as much, anyways. But yeah, I wasn't, though. I was still in bed by 9 there,
but that was the party animal for our crew.
Yeah.
I remember just being like upset. Who's awake? It's like 9:30. What's happening? Charlie, oh, sorry. I'm talking to Paul because Paul had got back. And I wasn't really upset. I'm joking. We also have the NFL game. We're going to go to see the Jets at not Lambeau. At what was it called again? The Met Reliance Stadium or whatever the heck it's called. I'm thinking we might go check out. I mean, I don't know how you feel. Diego's picked out a jazz club that he wants to go to, a piano bar perhaps one of the nights. Also, maybe if there's time, I don't know if we'll have time. Maybe a museum. He's so cultured. He's so cultured. He went to the symphony one time. Oh yeah, you were there too. That was cool. I got to tell a quick story. Symphony this week. I was supposed to go with my wife to see this ABBA candlelight Have you guys heard of this? It's like a symphony, like a 4-piece symphony they play in Winnipeg. It's just like a little show. And I love ABBA. Since I went to see the musical in London, it was unbelievable. Mamma Mia, it's the coolest thing. And I went, and I was by myself. I went by myself to see a symphony, and I felt pretty cultured, Phil, when I was sitting there and appreciating theater by myself, because my wife had other plans. She's like, no, I'm not going with you. My kids didn't want to go. Nobody wanted to go. So I went by myself. Super fun, though. I loved it. But we're going to be a group of guys. So maybe we should talk about this marathon instead of just talking about the fun stuff we're going to do. But the marathon is going to be pretty. So I don't know where you're at, Phil. When I get kind of down and not running, I kind of stop following Strava. So I've seen a few of your runs. They've looked good. Where do you think you're at?
I feel good. The last week and a half, my body started to feel better. Had my last treatment session this afternoon here. Hips feel good, calves feel good. So I'm confident that I'm going into this thing physically 100%. My training has gone about as well as I was hoping it would go. And
that's awesome.
I'm not trying to set or like to douse the expectations for Monday, because that's how I operate. Is I have to set expectations for myself when I'm going into a race or tournament or whatever it might be. But I'm already proud of getting through this training block, because it's really the first time that I have successfully made it through a full training block. My first marathon last year, 2024, I wasn't fully invested in it, and I was fooling myself in what I needed to do to prepare for it. That by the time I got to the race, I was just sick of running, and I was kind of like faking the confidence going into it. This past Manitoba Marathon 2025, I did well on my training block, but I hurt myself, so I lost about 3 weeks, kind of right in the heat of it. That certainly would have helped me. This time I'm actually getting to look back on completing a full 16 weeks, and I did make some changes along the way. And the last 3 weeks of the build, I tweaked some things because I just felt I wasn't recovering from my long runs well enough. So I added an extra recovery run instead of a workout during the week, just to make sure I was getting ready for my long run that weekend, whatever.
So mature.
Hey,
so mature.
I got a bit of a story on that. So
it's because I hurt myself in the spring, right? Like I learned from hurting myself in the spring from pushing too hard too many days in a row. Like I don't want to do that again. So that's I think the coolest part for me is, like, regardless of what happens next week, I've learned 3 races in a row now. And that's been part of the running that I've enjoyed the most. Like, obviously the actual running itself and having success, etc., and getting better has been awesome. But just launching myself into research and figuring out what works and what doesn't, and learning from my mistakes, has been some of the most rewarding aspects of it all. So I'm really excited. Sorry, Charlie, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I'm really excited going into it, just having successfully gotten through a training build, and now I get to like see what happens. Like, will it work or will it not? But at least I get to see what that leads to.
Charlie, you were going to say?
No. So yeah, I don't know if I want to say it anymore, but
yeah, it's still relevant. It's still
relevant. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's really good, Phil, that you're kind of learning, and I think you had a great block. I saw your last. Didn't you have a 15K at race pace? No problem. A week or so back.
Yeah. Last, not like 2 days ago, but last Sunday.
So you're feeling a little bit better. I know we had a run at Run Club, and you were like asking me questions and not really seeking advice, but I gave advice anyways.
That's what we do.
And you did exactly what I kind of told you. So that's not often that people. So that's my story, Rob. Is,
usually you were just pumped.
Usually people don't listen to me when I give advice. So he like skipped the one workout when he was feeling like, because I was saying like, there's times where when I've trained for a marathon where everything's all good and you just want to work out more, and there's times where I've trained for marathons where you don't feel like it, and that to me is a good indicator to know if you need a rest or not. So yeah, anyways,
well,
that's awesome.
I know I certainly felt just the mentals drop a little bit over the last 4 weeks with losing the daylight. It gets colder out, the daylight's gone, like it's just the motivation started to drop. But to your point, part of it had to do with just I was tired and I wasn't recovering well. And I think, I'm not necessarily going to call it a mistake because I learned from it. But the one thing that I would have done differently is the WFPS half, which was October 19th, I think. I was coming off of kind of a forced down week because I was traveling, ran the WFPS half and hit my goal of sub 130, short course, but whatever, right? But hit my goal, and I didn't think that, because it was only 21K, I didn't think it would affect me. But I just and so that week, coming off a down week, running WFPS, I went hard with 2 hard workouts, and then I got to my long run that Sunday, and I just had no gas in the tank. And looking back, that was the first time that I ran, that race pace for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And so I think that just took way more out of me than it did. And so if I could have done something differently, I would have added a recovery week after WFPS. And I think it would have helped me through my last, 3.5 weeks after that. Sorry, I know my hands are all over the place here. I'm French. I speak with my hands. But that's a lesson learned, and I don't think it's necessarily going to. If I miss a sub-3 on Monday, I don't think it's going to be because I had to skip 2 or 3 workouts down the stretch. It's going to be because I just need more time running at this pace and more attempts at it. So I don't look back at that as being like a critical mistake. I just think it's a good learning experience to give yourself some rest after a hard effort, right? Which makes common sense.
Yeah, but you've learned a lot in a pretty short time, Phil. So like, took me a long time to learn the lesson that you just talked about now. I don't. You talked about taking a day off, and Charlie, you gave him that advice. But Charlie, how long did it take you to figure that out? Like a long time, right? For us to figure out that.
Well, so I went through a whole year. Well, I probably was overtrained for like 6 months one time. Took me like 6 months to get back. So you didn't reach that point, so that's good.
Yeah.
My last Chicago build, which lasted 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks, I only did one workout per week, and my long run. Everything else was easy runs, and I had Mondays off on top of that. And I remember thinking, there's no possible way I'm gonna get I'm not gonna get fast enough. It's not like I remember talking about that on this podcast.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know.
It's crazy. It's crazy, how sometimes all you need is rest to get better.
Yes.
Like for me, like
when you are the prime example right now.
When I ran WFPS and all I had done was walk all week, and I was like, and I ran so much better than I did in Chicago. Like it was like, okay, so I guess it's just the rest that made it happen, right? So anyways, that's hard because I just
hard lesson to learn, but you learned it, Phil. And I
just wanted to prioritize the long run because I know I can run at that pace, and I can run faster than that. I know I can run at that pace. I just need to make sure I can do it for 3 hours. And I felt it about 3 weeks ago when I went out to do mile repeats, and I realized, my heart rate was still low. It was high 160s, low 170s, but I just couldn't get my legs to go.
The Charlie
my
syndrome.
legs just didn't want to go faster.
My legs have been like that for like the last 2 months.
Yeah, so that's when I really clicked in. Okay, I gotta just let my legs recover here because they just don't want to go faster. And then by the time I had the added recovery, got to my Sunday long run, I didn't really have an issue running at that pace when it got later in the run. It was more so about just building up the stamina. So, yeah, I don't know if I don't know what to expect on Monday because this will be my first time attempting running a marathon versus jogging a marathon. That was a big wake up call for me when I started this training block and realizing that I was no longer jogging. I was actually running with like a knee drive and a finish to every stride. And
we talked about that day we went through a run. You were talking.
Oh
about
yeah, that
yeah,
first workout.
There's kind of like a difference, eh?
Yeah, that first workout I did in August. Now, I still remember to this day. What am I getting myself into here? This is a terrible idea, but here I am 3.5 months later, and I think I'm in good shape. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the attempt. I don't know what to expect, but I think if something's going to fail me, it's going to be just the fact that I don't have enough time built up running at this pace. But those extra little workouts, I don't think they're going to be the deciding factor. I think it's just going to be the experience that I need. So
okay, go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, I was going to say, so Rob, we've talked about this in the past in a couple of our races where you're trying to get a result, but also when you show up to that marathon, if you have the feeling that and I think that's what you've kind of been explaining here, Phil, is you've done the things that you could and that you could control, and you've learned, and so you've done the best you can. So to me, at this point, is the result's going to be the result, and you're going to be happy with it because you've put in the effort. The race doesn't happen on race day. The race happens like in the months leading up to it, and you've put in the work. So am I explaining what, like, I know me and you and Rob have talked about it a little bit in the past, like
there's another
how you can't control anything from the past, right? So
you play Louis Cami texted me the other day. He said, you play we were talking about running something like this. He said, you play the cards you have today, right? Whatever you did in the past, the races you missed, the workouts you didn't do, you should have done, or whatever. Today, you're saying that you're at peace with the deck of cards that you had in the past. So today on race day, Monday on race day, you're gonna, no matter what happens with the result, you might analyze it after and say, I should have done this on race day. I should have started slower, faster, whatever. But you're at peace with the training and the build and what you did for that. And you're proud.
Exactly. And it's one of those things where if let's say I miss it by 15 seconds or 20 seconds, I'm going to be kicking myself over it. But I'm still going to be happy and proud of the work that I put into it. I was thinking about it just over the weekend. I've never worked this hard for anything before. Like I played high level sports growing up, but when you're a kid, you're fooling yourself with how hard you're working, right? Oh, I'm going out to the ODR tonight to get some extra practice in, but you're just screwing around with your friends, or
a lot of fun.
You go do an extra workout. Like you're not really working that hard. And for me, when I was in school, I kind of naturally got good grades. I didn't have to work as hard as some others that I saw studying nonstop to get their grades. So this has been a cool experience because I've never worked this hard for anything. And I was looking through my training plan, and I hit 1,000 kilometers on the build 2 days ago. I'm close to 90 hours of running over the last 16 weeks, and like that's more so what I'm proud of. Now, if I break 3 hours, you can bet your ass I'm getting the time tattooed on my leg, but it's not the end all be all, right? And it's not the last marathon I'm going to run, so I'll have other opportunities should I not get it this week. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it, and I don't want to. I still have to hold myself accountable. I'm one of those people where I can't just say, oh, whatever happens happens. To me, if I don't crack 3:10, I'm going to be disappointed because I know how hard I worked to crack 3:30, and I've worked a hell of a lot harder in this build. And so if I don't crack 3:10 and I, only gain 15 minutes or something like that on my last PB, I'm going to be disappointed. But I need to set those kinds of, what would a disappointment look like to hold myself accountable on, throughout my training and on race day, to not quit and not give up. But I don't, unless there's like 40K wins, which that is probably the one thing I'm nervous about, is the fact that we're running on the water and it's been super windy in New York the last few weeks.
Oh, I forgot the addiction to checking the weather when you're doing an A race.
Oh, right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
We'll have to think about the forecast.
What's your weather forecast? I have it here.
I see like 8-10 degrees ish, and right now the wind has dropped down 15 kilometers or so. Unless there's like massive winds, I don't see how I don't put up a time that I'm going to be proud of and happy with.
So one of the things with the wind that I've been finding interesting, so not related to your marathon or anything, but I track my runs, and now my Garmin now tells me power. I don't know how it gets power. I think it just guesses, but pretty good guess. But on days where it's very windy, my power to speed ratio will go up. I'll have to use more power in total relative to my speed because I guess it's not a net, it's a net negative, right? So it actually does make a difference, but I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah. So Phil, I want to ask you
crosswind.
Yeah, I want to ask you about the race day plan, hydration, nutrition, all that stuff, because I love dissecting that. But before we get to that, I want to ask you about your training. I want to talk a bit about it more. You mentioned, just backstory here, just for people to have an idea. I don't think that many people know you. You ran your first halves when did you? Because it's not that long ago that you said you wanted to run a sub-3. Just talk us through the timeline real quick.
Yeah, well, I'd never run a half before, I guess, spring of 23, which is when you decided to run across Manitoba for some weird reason.
You did 2 in a day, though, didn't you?
Yeah, some noble reason.
He did 4.
So that was like, not to go soft, but that's what inspired me to get into it, was just seeing you. At the time, Charlie and I didn't really know each other yet, but you and I have known each other for 15 years. Seeing you make, massive changes in your life and then launch this concept of running across provinces for CMV, I just wanted to support. And so, I came out to run 2 on the Sunday, the first Sunday, I guess, in the middle of nowhere. And
I can't believe
I've always had a mentality of, if you can run for 1 hour, you can run for 2, and if you can run for 2 hours, you can run a half.
So you should do that. It sounds like you got the backyard mentality. You need to start doing backyards.
That's just if you can get through 60 minutes, you can keep going, right? So that's always been my mentality. So I figured I'll figure it out. And yeah, sure enough, that second half that day was not as much fun or successful, but we crossed the line.
I'd say it was successful, Phil.
Well, it was successful in that we finished it. I had set goals that I
26.2 miles in a day.
Yeah, I wanted to
never really run.
Total of, I think, 4:30 was my goal for the 2, or I don't remember exactly, but we did some walking on. I'll never forget the second half. At one point, we're doing walk runs, and you're like, okay, it's time to go, and I start running, and you take a couple strides, and then you go back to walking as I'm running. I'm so sorry, man. I'm trying. You're like, don't be sorry.
It was hilly though, too, right? Wasn't it?
It was hot.
Yeah, those Manitoba highways.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that was the start, and then we ran the Curé leg the following weekend with a bunch of our hockey team.
Like a week later to the note.
A week later, right?
So you did
on
2 on the Sunday, then we did 6 days later, you did 1.
Yeah, that one was super rewarding because I'd never been supported and pushed through something the way you had supported me and pushed me through that second half on that Sunday. And And I just remember when we finished, like that's all I could think about was not me finishing, was like you carrying me through that. Um, and then 6 days later, we ran with a bunch of guys from our hockey team, and I almost got, with much less wisdom and experience under my belt, I almost got like the opportunity to give that right back to, one of our buddies who was having a hard time, and helping him cross the finish line. So that was a super rewarding day for me. And then I wanted to be there for the last leg when you finished, because I thought it would be the last half marathon you ever ran, because you'd be stupid to do this again. Foreshadowing. And yeah, ran that one with Q, in the trails, by the
Grains.
Ontario border. Yeah.
Grains was there too with you. And
Yeah.
You had a
So wait.
big group for that one.
yeah, that was
So-
the last one was fun.
so I gotta-
you go ahead, Charlie. Go
The
ahead.
day you did 2, that's the first time I met you. I don't know if you remember, but I
think we might have
I
like
got-
played hockey together one day 10 years ago, but that was really the first time that we met each other.
Yeah, but I had heard about you doing 2 in a day, and I was like, "Whoa, that's crazy!" That was impressed. Anyways,
I got to tell that story because I've said it before on the podcast, but like Phil, you're being humble here because that was a crazy story because people were registering and you were like reaching out to me. You were not running. You were, as far as I remember, you were not running. You were maybe doing a 5K here and there, or I don't even think you were, but you can share. But I remember you not running, and then all of a sudden, bloop, you were showing up on my registration, and you kept registering for more events. And then you asked me about, I had an opening on that day, and you said I'll do 2. I remember you telling me you'll do 2, and I was like, Phil, like, I don't know, man. Like, that's not gonna be like I think I kind of tried to talk you out of it, maybe. I think that's my recollection. I was like, why don't you do them like separate days? They could get a day off in between. You're like, no, I want to do them both on the same day. And you had this goal of doing doing a marathon on that day, and like you weren't running. Like, I'm not saying you weren't in shape. I'm just saying you weren't running. And there's a difference between playing hockey every Tuesday and all of a sudden running a marathon. Like that, those are two different
it was
things.
like when I heard that, like most people would be like, it's stupid, or like I was just like genuinely impressed.
I did 4 training runs. I did a 5, 8, 12, and 16K training run leading up to that. But yeah, I'd reached out to you and asked like which legs do you not have anybody signed up to run with you?
Right.
And then you said that Sunday, I think you had said both. So I was like, I guess I'll just sign up for both.
Well, I was like, pick one, and we'll fill the other one later.
Yeah.
I was like, well, pick one. I was thinking that was Mother's Day. That was the day my wife was heading back home, and that was kind of an emotional day too because my mom was there. And remember, we went for dinner at that curling club or whatever the heck that was, the arena or the curling club, and we had a monster, and it was just kind of a weird day. Like I knew you, but like we weren't. I wouldn't classify us as like best friends at the time.
We were teammates, right?
We were
played
teammates.
Hockey together.
I didn't, and all of a sudden here we are. You're staying with us, and I wanted that. I wanted you to stay with us. You're staying with us. We're running, and you're running again. And man, that story of you helping others, I heard it from someone. Who were you running with that day? Was it Sammy or Klutz or?
It was Flux.
It was Flux. Okay.
Yeah.
So I need to tell this part of the story too, because you're saying how I inspired people. Man, those guys. That's the coolest thing a hockey team could ever do for a guy, right? They all came. Everyone registered. Every single hockey teammate came and did a half marathon with me on that day. To this day, it's like one of the coolest things. I still think of my Curé hockey teammate like as a family. I've been playing hockey with those guys for 15 years, and they all came and did a marathon, and they struggled. Yeah. Remember how much pain
I was there for the end. No, but
Uh-huh.
there's some good runners in that group.
Yeah.
I was there at the end. And but back to one of the things you said, Phil, ODR, I think we need to clarify what that means. For
outdoor rinks.
Yeah.
For the American listeners, just going skating outdoors. Yeah. So, okay. So that's when you started. So this is 2 years ago, 2 years and a bit ago.
Yeah. So that was the start. And then I'd say I just kind of casually ran throughout the summer, and we started our run club that fall.
Yeah. You were the first one, I think. It was me and you, right?
Marty. You mean Marty got started that fall. And I ran my first organized race that fall, the WFPS, just to kind of get a feel for it, because by that point, Marty had already committed to running the full, the Manitoba Marathon the next year. And I wasn't sold. I was like, okay, let me just run an organized race and see what it's like, and then decide if I want to do that. And I didn't love it. Like, I didn't really train for that WFPS half, and I think I came back from Vancouver on the Friday or something like that for work, and wasn't really ready. Didn't love it, but whatever, it was fine.
Yeah, but your definition, Phil, your definition of training now that you get through a 16-week build, no injury, with big mileage, with consistent runs, is different than when everyone else thinks about is training, right? Back then, you probably thought you trained, right?
Yeah, like I was running maybe a couple times a week, right? Just like, yeah, I'm still running consistently, but not really progressing in any way. And at that point, I hadn't learned what training was all about. Which was, I learned that the following spring. So ran that, then we went to LA in January, which kept me running all winter, kept the run club going, kept me running all winter. Broke my arm, so ran that one with a broken arm. That was a super fun trip.
That's right, you had the broken arm. Yeah, it sucked.
And then we got ready and then I started gearing up for the Manitoba Full. And of course, Marty ran the full with you in LA. And so now I was going to run my first full, and I hated every minute of the training for that full because I didn't know how to train. Every race, every run that I was doing was at the same pace, just different, variations in distance. There was nothing exciting about it, and I was just so sick of it. So I was kind of fooling myself throughout of, I'm doing what I need to do right now, and I like this, whatever. And I got to race day, and Rob was pacing 3:45, and I kept up with you until like the last 6K, which is when I collapsed and wanted to jump into traffic running down Pembina.
There was a strong wind that year.
Strong wind, yeah.
Yeah.
And long mile at mile 20, if I recall, or 19.
That's right.
Yeah.
So after that, I took a bit of a break and like stayed in shape throughout the summer, but just, I don't know if this is for me kind of thing. And in the fall, like I had signed up for the WFPS half in the fall for 2024. But in the fall, my wife and I had our son. And
hey, congrats.
I went through a bit of some health stuff and had not to get too deep, but had some resentment towards, the situation that we were in with a newborn and life changing a little too quick for me and not being able to keep up. And running became my outlet. And I just it was my hour per day of blocking out everything that was going on and just go out and run. And it became, meditative and my outlet. And lo and behold, when I got to the WFPS half, I didn't have a plan. My bib actually got forgotten. My buddy had picked up my bib and he forgot my bib at home. So his mom had to come drive it to me at the start line. So I'm like, grab my bib from her. I'm running up to the start line and I'm just going to run. And Mario Champagne pulls up. So we're like, okay, let's run together. And we end up running together for probably 18K or 18K. And I just kind of kept pushing the pace. And I ended up running like a 1:47 or something like that, which was my PB at the time by almost 10 minutes. And that's when it clicked. Like that day, it just clicked for me of, oh, this is what a good race feels like when you finish a race feeling good about it.
1 year ago. That was 1 year ago at the WFPS.
That was 1 year ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
And since then, I've just launched into research and, videos and blogs and all sorts of running content to just try to fill my brain with it, and have taken it, way more seriously. So, this year I started the year with a goal of running 3:30 for the full, which the year prior I ran a 3:49 or something like that. And
3:49 was your first ever marathon, right?
Yeah.
You just missed by I ran 3:45. You were right behind me, 3:49.
Yeah.
Then you said your goal for your second one was sub 3:30.
Yeah, it was to break 3:30, and
That was
I wanted
this
to
year
break.
at the
That was this
Manitoba
year.
at the summer marathon. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then I wanted to break 90 minutes for the half. And so, yeah, I mean, we've touched on it a little bit, but I hurt myself, minor injury gearing up to the full, so I lost about 3 weeks, but I think I was ahead enough that obviously didn't affect me. I was able to run a 3:29 and change. Um, and again, finish that race feeling awesome. Like I never really pushed myself to the point where I hated what I was doing. Um, and then my second goal, which was to run 90-minute half, which I was able to hit as part of this training block at WFPS, gearing up for a bonus goal of a sub-3 in New York here next week. So yeah, a year ago is when running changed for me. It went from something I was doing because I liked, like, for a while now, our run club on Saturday has been my favorite part of my week. It's just, it's replaced going out for beers. Instead of going out for beers, you get together with buddies and go for a run and shoot the shit. And a year ago is when running changed from something I'm doing just to make sure I can keep up with the guys on Saturdays to, okay, I actually really enjoy this now and I want to see myself improve. And it's, for me, it's replaced golf. I don't know if you guys have had similar feelings, about this, but I think a lot of people who like grow up competitive switch to golf when they become adults because there's no more outlet to be competitive. But we all fool ourselves when we're like, oh yeah, I'm trying to get better at golf. No, you're not. You're just using your foot wedge and saying that you shot a 4 instead of a 5, right? But like, you can't cheat running. And I think that's what I've enjoyed about it, is that if you want to hit a certain time, it's just about putting the work in. You can't tell yourself you're doing the right things like I was a year ago when you know deep down you're not. Whereas, golf, yeah, you can go to a driving range and hit a bucket of balls, but are you really practicing anything? Are you really getting better? And lo and behold, I played golf once this summer. So to me, that's how it's changed, is like, this is now my competitive outlet and my opportunity to try to get better at something, even though I'm, in my 30s and not playing some sort of organized sport like I was when I was a kid.
You know who he sounds like there, Charlie? You.
Yeah, totally.
When you're like, running is the one way, like one point you get measured, and you're accountable to yourself, and like all the you guys have similar. I do too, but you guys articulate it well, both of you. So you said that running's obviously become your outlet. I think a lot of people, hopefully listening to this podcast, would probably agree. Has it changed your appreciation for it now that you're doing like you're way faster and you're doing, like, it used to be just running and now it's like, okay, I want to do this. Has that changed your appreciation for running?
Well, it's funny because it became my outlet a year ago. And then as things settled, and I think I had a little bit of a depression, and as that went away and things kind of settled at home and we got used to not being alone in the house, and just all the changes that were happening, my health came back, all this stuff, then the need for the outlet sort of slowly went away, and the drive to keep running came more internally at this point, from me enjoying it and seeing myself kind of have success. So I think now where I'm at with the goals that I set for myself are like, I think 4% of marathon runners achieve a sub-3. So I want to be a part of that 4%, right? I'm trying to set goals that will force me to push myself. And then I want to try different things. Like I want to try triathlon. I want to try, running longer. I want to try different things, because I think I've always enjoyed pushing myself, like pushing my body in ways that my brain doesn't want it to, right? When you think about, a bear in the woods just wants to eat and get fat and survive, right?
That
But
sounds so fun.
the human being has the ability to like trick itself to not do those things and to go run 100 kilometers or to go run for 24 hours and do stupid things that are hard to do. So I've always enjoyed kind of messing with my body in that way, and seeing what I'm capable of doing. So this is that outlet now of like, how hard can I push myself and what can I get myself to do?
That's awesome. I get so much joy from this chat. So I mean, I talk to you every week at Run Club. But go ahead, Charlie.
Oh, I was going to say, so sounds like you're enjoying running a lot more this year. What are there any specific things you've done to make it more enjoyable, or is it more like because you've got kind of these different workouts, or what makes it more enjoyable this year?
The variety for sure.
Yeah.
The variety in runs is I think for me is everything. Because even now, if I have too many similar runs in a row, I'll get a little bit of I don't really feel like going to do this right now.
We're so similar.
So the variety is huge. And then, success breeds success. Like the fact that I have been successful in some of the goals that I've set for myself, it makes me want to try more. I don't think, should I fail, I don't think it's going to turn me off from running, but having had those successful runs makes me want to do more.
I don't think you can fail. Like this last build has been the success. Whatever happens,
it's just whatever happens, it's a stepping stone to the next.
It's a stepping stone.
Rob, like you're kind of the same way.
Funny.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Charlie.
I was just gonna say Rob's kind of the same way, and I'm the same way. Where if we didn't have that one workout a week that's like super hard, super different, like it would be. I don't think I could just run every day like that. I need to have these change ups.
Well, and you want to be progressing and or getting towards a goal and or like there's always something in the back there that's got to be motivating too. Like I like running just to run, but you're right. I would get bored-ish. I don't know if that's the right word, or less interested maybe.
Yeah, for sure. I would for sure. If I didn't have the one or two, I don't think I could keep doing it forever.
And
don't forget, if you just have to do easy runs every day, after a while you're like, okay, let's do something else here.
No, it's fun going fast. Yeah. And Phil, you're in, like, you guys have heard me in full manic Rob excited mode in my last two builds, and like you're going through it right now, and you and I are very similar. So like I imagine that you've just been on a natural high these last 16 weeks, because every time you go out for your Thursday tempo or whatever the heck your
doing a PR every week.
It's a PR every week. I see your Strava run, and it's like Phil did a PR in the 10K today. I'm like, Phil just did a workout, and it's a PR in the 10K. You had one where you PR'd a half marathon the other day, right? I didn't dream that. I saw that. You PR'd a half marathon in your workout.
Because technically my half marathon at WFPS didn't count because I didn't get the 0.1.
Okay. But you're PRing 5Ks and 10Ks all the time. All the time.
So it was the second fastest half marathon you'd ever run, anyways, in a workout.
I think like looking back at the last 16 weeks, I've been in a very positive mindset the whole way through, with the exception of the 2 to 3 week stretch where I was tired and it was okay. I need to chill a little bit here. Where I'm at right now, I'm also excited to put a little bit of variety back into just my general fitness plan, because for the last 16 weeks, every available kind of leisure time that I've had has gone towards running, and I haven't been in the gym. I haven't been on the bike doing other things, and that the fact that I haven't been in the gym concerns me a little bit about the legs. I think I should still be fine. I've been fine to this point. I haven't hurt myself, so I'm not really worried about it. But like, that's something that I really enjoy, is lifting, and I haven't been able to. So I am looking forward to re-injecting some variety into my general fitness. But I haven't had the moment of, I don't want to do this anymore, which I certainly did have a year and a half ago. And that tells me kind of everything I need to know about where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I think if I've only had that like twice, I think ever in my life, I just stop running when I get that, because it's not good for me. Can we talk about race strategy here?
Yeah, we need to get into this. We only have 10 minutes here. Let's go.
Yeah. So Phil, you are running the Rockaway. It's on Rockaway Beach. Do you know how many loops? I forget. Was it 4 loops or something? 4 loops. It's there and back on the beach. I think it's going to be a pretty nice race. the World AIDS Marathon. We know, based on my experience, that it's a 6:52 to 6 minutes 52 second mile in order to break 3 hours. But with the Strava tax, it's more like 6:50 ish. You got to run. What is your plan pacing wise? First, let's start with that.
So being Canadian, I use kilometers.
Sorry,
so
go ahead. Kilometers. 4:15 or
4:16
is 6:50.
Yeah.
So I'm going with that strategy of 6:50s, 4:15s, whatever. And like I said, the wind is a concern. If I have a headwind in one of the two directions, I think that's going to be trouble, but we'll deal with that on the day of. I can look at it as essentially 45-minute loops. I have to do 4 45-minute loops. And 6:50 should get me at, I think, 44:30 per loop or 44:35 per loop or something like that.
The tax.
So, because in theory, this should be a relatively close marathon if it's an out and back loop, right? If it's 5 1/4 out, 5 1/4 back, you shouldn't be losing too much mileage as you go through.
But I guarantee you will, Phil.
You will lose mileage, yeah.
Because
you will lose some,
I don't think it's that you lose. I think watches are just biased to they increase your distance by 1% in general.
Yeah, that's fair. But so I mean, my plan is to just go steady and stick with 6:50s.
You're gonna start right at 6:50s and just get on the treadmill.
Typically,
the Rob
typically
strategy.
my first kilometer, I try to go 5 to 10 seconds slow. So I might do like a 4:20 or 4:25 or something like that to start, and then get into my pace.
The Charlie move.
But just stick with that steady. And my goal is to get through 3 laps at that pace. And then for that 4th lap, figure out what I have. Either I'm very confident right now of getting through the first 3 laps.
Yeah.
That 4th lap is kind of the toss up. So I'm going to have to just figure it out when I get there of, do I have anything to push harder right now? Or do I just have to hang on to this pace as best as I can?
Oh my God, I'm so excited for you. This is so fun because it's reliving mine just now. If you were a betting man and then do you have it in you, Phil?
I think if conditions are not perfect, but if conditions are favorable, I think I do.
Wow.
I think if it's a 25 kilometer an hour plus wind, I don't think I have a chance, because that for me is going to be about 8 to 10 heartbeats per minute.
Yeah, but you get it on the way back. It's there,
but not to the same level, right? The effort.
I know. I'm just trying to tell you that.
No, the wind's not going to make a difference.
The wind's a detail. The wind's
so
a detail.
I think if the conditions are tough, I don't know that I have it in me to fight through tough conditions. But if the conditions are average or better, I think I do have it.
Do you think you could win this race? What's the winning time?
That's kind of the other thing I'm looking at. I looked at last year's times. There was one guy who ran like a 2:43, and then the next guy was 3:10 or something like that. So depending on the turnout, I think I have a chance.
Okay. Have you thought of your nutrition strategy?
9 gels every 20 minutes.
Okay.
Is my plan.
Okay.
I think there's water on the course.
Yeah.
So stick with that.
Yeah. You don't need water for
perfect weather though, right? It's gonna be PR weather.
Yeah.
You're gonna have your cheater shoes.
Cheater shoes,
yeah.
What shoes you going with?
My Asics
Adi Pro, whatever.
No,
that's Adidas. Metaspeed. Sorry.
Yeah.
I get confused between those two. You're gonna just drink water. You're not a salt tablet kind of guy.
No.
We got to go pick up our bibs too. Did you get an email on bib pickup?
No, I haven't had a single email since we registered.
Well, he sent one today.
Oh yeah.
Did you get it? You might not. I'm getting regular emails. Okay, it's probably on the junk list. My buddy Richard Brodsky, who, by the way, I gotta tell you this story. Phil knows, but I signed up and I emailed him. I said, "Hey, I got a crew coming from Canada. We're excited. There's 7 of us. We're gonna run different distances." He's basically become my best friend by email. He emails me all the time. "Hey, I'm thinking about you Canadians. Where are you guys staying? I might know somebody." I'm like, "No, we're fine. We're gonna stay in a hotel. We don't need to stay at your cousin Nancy's house." But it's a 10 o'clock start. So
I love that.
Oh, it's late start, but that's fine because it's not hot.
No, exactly.
Yeah, I think that works out because we're staying in Manhattan, close to Times Square, and then this race it's going to be like an hour to get there.
It's an hour drive, so it'll be whatever, 7 a.m. wake up, pack our stuff, eat, then get over there. It'll be perfect.
Yeah. And all those other guys are all running halves or 10Ks or 5Ks. I think you're the only one doing the marathon now. That I think Marty's doing the half. Right?
Marty's doing the half, yeah.
Yeah, Marty's doing the half. He's dealing with something.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do whatever 5 or 10K. Whatever Q lets me do. Q, our physio, is coming on the trip too, so that's good. It's good to have a physio on the trip. Yeah, great runner. He's done sub-2s before.
Yeah.
I don't know if he trained much. How about you, Charlie? Anything else you want to ask him about race day or race prep or?
I think he's got it all under control. Yeah, I think we went through everything. So just an even pace. What are your thoughts on like mental preparation for the end of the race and things like that? I feel like that's to get a good time, to get a PR, you kind of have to be at the top of your game mentally too.
You have to know that it's going to be hard. You have to know
that it's going to
misery over the last 10K, and you have to just be willing to run through misery.
Yeah, I haven't been great at running through misery in the few experiences that I have had. My first, well, obviously that one that second half with you, Rob, and then my first experience at Manitoba Marathon. Those were the two that I've had that were the most like, I'm hitting a wall right now. Can I fight through it? And even though I did finish, like I did not power through. And so when I look at the other races that I've had, like my 3:30 attempt this year, I'm not going to say it was easy, but I never really pushed myself to the point of that feeling, primarily because I wanted to experience a finish of a marathon feeling good and feeling energized. I just kind of kept myself in the sweet spot and, okay, let's just finish this and celebrate. And then the WFPS half, I definitely pushed the last 3K, but that was, a stepping stone to get to where I am today. So I don't know how I'm going to handle that when I hit it, because I know I'm going to hit it this race. And I'm thinking it'll be sometime in the last 5 to 8K. And yeah, I mean,
surprise.
We'll see.
Yeah. So it's not like, I think, I don't know, what strategy do you, okay, I'll tell you my strategy, Rob, you can tell him your strategy.
Sure.
My strategy is I expect it. I know it's coming. My legs are supposed to hurt at mile 18. Things are supposed to get really hard at mile 21. And if you tell yourself in advance that that's going to happen, and then it does happen, it makes you a little bit more resilient to it. And then you start chunking it up, like, okay,
3 miles,
half a mile at a time, whatever,
or 30 seconds at a time,
and just have confidence that you can get through it. But it's supposed to hurt a little bit.
Well, and I've had some long runs in the last few weeks where I just, towards the end, is like, okay, it's Sunday. I got a vacuum. I got to go grocery shopping. I got shit to do here.
Bed Bath and Beyond.
Yeah. And like, I'm staring at my watch pretty consistently, just trying to get through those runs. I know that doesn't compare to the feeling on race day, but those little moments I think still help, right? Of just, I'd rather be done right now, but I need to finish. So let's just finish this race or finish this run. Try to take some of that mentality into it too. And I mean, at the end of the day, like, there's no quitting, right? If I quit with 5K to go, I'm 5K from my bag and from you guys, and I got to get there somehow. So I might as well.
No. You're not quitting. That's not happening. The question is, are you going to be able to keep the pace? You're not quitting. That's not happening.
For sure.
Yeah. The question that happens at the end is you're like, oh, I could slow down. I could slow down.
Why do I need to do this?
20
Why do I need to go so fast?
Yeah. Typically the first thing, or not the first thing, but the real red alarm for me has been when I start to feel gut issues, which that, like, I've yet to figure out a way to fight through that. So hopefully I don't reach that point. And if it's the legs or if it's the mentals, I think I can push through that. When it's the gut, it's a little dicey, but Yeah, we'll figure it out.
How
That's what
have
diapers are for.
how have the gut issues been in training? Like, have you been taking nutrition on your long runs?
Yeah,
training?
yeah. I haven't had it in training. It's usually when my heart rate hits like 183, 185.
Same here. Same here.
And I haven't had that in training, so I haven't really gotten the chance to practice it.
But at least you have been doing it in training, and hopefully the heart rate doesn't get that far up till the end.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Phil, this was a first of what we hope 2 episodes with Phil. We'll bring him back next week to chat and recap the New York World AIDS Day Marathon, which we're all running in this weekend, Monday. Phil, I am excited to travel with you. I'm excited to roll with you. I'm way more excited for you than I am for me, that's for sure. And I can't wait to tell all our viewers how you did. Whatever you do, Phil, it's been pretty impressive, pretty remarkable what you've done. And on Monday, sorry, go ahead, Charlie.
Is there a way we can follow?
I doubt it on this thing.
Okay.
I don't know.
It looks like a pretty.
The website, I gotta talk, like this website. I'm texting Phil.
It was made in 1992.
Yeah,
it's DOS based. And it's I remember Phil, I was like, "Okay, I found a race for us. It's gonna be so fun. Like New York Marathon." He's like, "The New York Marathon? No, a different one. The New York World AIDS Marathon." Phil's like, "I don't think that's a race, dude. Like the website's not updated. Like they only updated the website like 3 weeks ago or something.
Yeah,
4 weeks ago." I was like, "Well, no wonder no one's registering for this marathon. Like, there's no website." Anyways, the guy's a one-man operation. Seems like a great guy. If you're listening, Richard, I think he's been doing this himself, raising money, and I actually sponsored the race.
I'm so excited for the shirt.
The shirts are going to be
so fired up for.
Awesome. So I'm expecting texts then from your group. I want to know.
Okay, I'll update you. I'll update you, Charlie, and then we'll recap it next week. So we'll get Phil back on. We'll talk about how the race went, and in the meantime, I'm not going to say more miles, less pace. Well, more miles, less pace for everyone else, but for you, Phil. Exactly 26.2 miles at exactly the right pace.
Yeah.
Okay. See you next week, guys.
Thanks, guys.